Hey guys, gonna do something different today. I did say that I was gonna do this a few days ago. I guess let's talk about the gender tag project a bit and how I sort of stumbled across it. It started off with a video that I saw by Adam Coble, Skinny Ghost, who I subscribe to on YouTube. The video that sort of prompted him to do it, I guess, or how he was introduced to it, was Dodge's video, which I've also seen, and I've seen many other ones as well, but those are the first two that I saw. And it's a, lack of a better term, it's a discussion across YouTube about gender and how people identify with gender and such. And watching those two initial videos did intrigue me, and I've been meaning to do this for about a week now, but I've found myself busy with other things, playing Blood Bowl mostly. I guess for people who stumble across this, let's just sort of introduce myself a little. My name is Matthew Dunn, as you can see scrolling beneath me here. Very often go by Dunn, MPD online, but real names on it, so I'm gonna, this is more me more than the character I portray in the things that I've done on the internet before. So yeah, let's just get real. What I'm gonna do is, basically there's 10 prompts here to talk about. It's a bit dark in here. This song does not loop well. I really like the song, and information about the song I'll put in the description as well. I really like the song, but it doesn't loop well at all. But because I basically made no notes on this, I am going to look at the questions and sort of speak. So there is possibility for some dead air, so I thought I'd put something in there. The song's called... What is the song called? Real Bad Girl by Audionautics, I guess, is what they're called. So that is them. Once again, that will be down in the link below, as will the 10 prompts that I'll be sort of answering. I'll also link back to Adam and Dodge's videos, those are the ones that I saw, as well as to the playlist that has been made with all these videos across YouTube, as well, for people who are interested in checking that out. As of the 6th of October, there were 375 videos from 375 different YouTubers. So, yeah, God knows how many there are now, or how many there will go on to be, but it's interesting. It's interesting to me anyway, and I hope you guys find it interesting as well. So yeah, let's just begin. Here are the questions. Question number 1: How do you self-identify your gender, and what does that definition mean to you? I self-identify as male. Definition-wise, what does that mean to me? I guess it actually, thinking about it, doesn't really mean a great deal to me at all. If I have my head at this angle, the screen doesn't reflect in my glasses. I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do about that, guys. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean a great deal to me whatsoever. Biologically, I'm male, and I guess I accept that. I've never had any real cause to question that, so I'm sort of comfortable within that definition as provided by social norms, society and such. Question 2: What pronouns honour you? Sorry, just being really anal here. I've got a... Because I'll be copy and pasting this from my Word document into the YouTube description, and it is spelt in the American fashion. So I just need to stick a you in there. What pronouns honour me? Him, his, etc. Let's talk about pronouns a bit. Let's sort of go off. Well, not so much off topic. It's all relative, I guess. Pronouns is something that, or preferred pronouns rather, is something that I have never had to really deal with in my personal experience. To the best of my knowledge, I've never known anyone. Well, I mean, I may have known people who have gone through some sort of period of transition or now prefer to use different pronouns, but when I have known them, they didn't, or didn't say that they did prefer different pronouns. Once again, this to the best of my knowledge, don't work with anyone. That loop though, don't work with anyone in that sort of situation. So I feel if I found myself in that situation, it would be something that would be difficult for me, because generally if someone looks like a guy, I will assume they identify as male, and vice versa, because that's the way it's always been for me in my experience thus far. I think just out of that habit, that would be difficult if I found myself in a situation where the opposite were true. If someone who was at the time biologically male told me, actually, I think would you refer to me by female pronouns because that's how I would like to be addressed, I think I would struggle with that for a period, not out of any sense of maliciousness or pig-headedness or anything. It just, that's the way it has been. As I say, it's never happened to me before, so I'm not sure. I just feel that that is something that would occur. Further going on to preferred pronouns. Yeah, I think I would struggle less with preferred pronouns if people would go. There's some. Let's dive into Tumblr for a little bit. I think I'd be easier with he, she than if someone they. I think I could that, they, their, them, etc. I think I could get. It's Z, for example, Z-I-E. Z laughs, I called Zer. Zer eyes, that is Zers. Z likes Zerself. I think that particular example, and this is just me searching, stumbling on a Tumblr to get, because I'm aware that there are communities, rather not societies, of people on Tumblr around preferred pronouns. I think I struggled with that one because that's not a word in my vernacular. It's not a word that I think that'd get more getting used to than someone who was perhaps visibly and physically male preferring to go with she than someone who was visibly and potentially physically either gender going with Z or Zer, Zerself. That's so yeah. That's my little bit on preferred pronouns. That's not to say that if someone did prefer to go by Z, Zer, Zerself, I wouldn't try to do that for them, because I don't see it being an issue me using a different word that I'm used to, if that's what someone prefers to be referred to as. Um, it'd just take a little bit of getting used to. I mean, it's nowhere near the same thing, but I have I think he's second cousin or third cousin, twice removed or something. I'd always known him through my life as Sam. And when I think when he was 18, I was 13, 14 at the time, I think. He decided that he would rather go by, his name was Sam, Robert, and then his surname. He would rather go by Bob, which, it's no different than if he said, actually, I'd rather go by she instead of he, as far as I'm concerned at least. And that was a struggle as well, because I was so used to calling him Sam. Yeah, I feel I've rambled a little bit on this point, so let's move along. Point number 3. Describe the style of clothing that you most often wear. I'd say this is something that changes a lot, but actually it's all sort of stayed on a similar theme from, I don't know, I'm pushing 26 now, so back when I was 14, 15, so 10, 11 years ago is when I guess I started my teenage independence, I guess, and that's when what was in at the time was super baggy jeans. Not sure if people may not remember them, but what were they called? Dreadies is what they were called, like super baggy, like skater jeans. That is what I used to wear, like mega super baggy, and I still do, I guess, to an extent. Not that it's difficult to find jeans like that anymore, just because that isn't what is fashionable. So the jeans I'm currently wearing are, let's say I'm a 34-inch waist. I think I'm wearing a 38-inch waist pair of jeans, because that's how they're baggy enough for me to feel comfortable in them. Upper body wear, it's usually t-shirts. It was band t-shirts. For the longest time, I sort of moved away from band t-shirts. I get that feeling that I'm a bit too old for them. Not the shirts themselves, but I used to like going to concerts, and I'd buy a t-shirt at the concert, mostly because the t-shirt I was wearing was drenched in sweat and uncomfortable, so I'd buy a clean t-shirt to go home so I wouldn't stink half as bad as I did. But I would buy the shirts of the gigs that I was going to support the bands that I liked. Saying that, very often I would buy them from outside, which I know doesn't support the band that I like, but they're also a fifth of the cost. And I was young and going to a lot of gigs at the time, so it was the most cost-efficient way for me to do things. Band shirts I've sort of moved away from. I still have a few, but I don't tend to go to concerts as much as I used to anymore. Citing, goddamn, I'm too old for this. So yeah, that is a part of my life I've unfortunately closed the door on, which I feel a little bit sad about sometimes, because I do sort of miss it until I'm at a concert, and then I'm surrounded by people who are just like I was, and then I just get irritated by it being noisy and sweaty and stuff, so I just steer clear nowadays. T-shirt wise, it's usually dark. I usually wear dark t-shirts. Today got my Murloc shirt on. Gaming shirts, I wear a lot of gaming shirts. Comic book shirts, mostly Marvel. Got a few DC stuff. things, mostly of the Batman thing. So I guess geek culture shirts is what I tend to wear, or wrestling shirts, because still, whatever that says about me, I'm still I fall in and out of love with WWE, and I'm sort of in an in phase. So a lot of my clothing, t-shirt wise, is still WWE because they're newer. Hoodies usually, more often than not sunglasses, whether I need them or not. Sunglasses are cool. Or like, I've got an old leather jacket, old leather trench coat that I wear a lot when, especially now it's sort of autumn time and cold and windy and rainy. Wear that a lot more than I used to. Or vests. People who know me know that I've got a lot of tattoos here, and I've got a lot of tattoos. Oh, let's get them out. Yes, the tattoos, and I'd wear a lot of sort of vests to sort of show them off, because I got them and I like them, and yeah, why not get them out? So yeah, that is. Was there another? Yeah, that's the sort of dress. There's no other like to that question. So let's move on to 4. Talk about your choices with body hair. How do you style your hair? Do you have facial hair? What do you do? You choose to shave or choose not to shave? Facial hair. What I choose to shave is my head. I shave my head like super short. That's it, really. I do usually clear up my beard and moustache and facial hair at the same time as I do my head, which is usually about once a month, usually, and then I just let it grow out. Now, I actually really super miss my long hair. Got a picture here. Bam! There is a young me. Pre-beard. Hair. As for sort of styling my hair, it, as I said, used to be long, used to dye it a lot. I think that was sort of like a mahogany that I dyed at that time, but I have gone slightly more non-normative colours. I think I started dyeing it more normal colours because I dyed my hair bright red once, and then after the fact, it was like a semi-permanent dye that was meant to wash out, and it never really did. I sort of went like a yellowy ginger hair colour for like a really, really long time, so I'd dye that on top to just sort of be a more normal colour. And there's a band shirt as well. Yeah, cool. I mean, I probably have some more examples of my hair. Bam, turn off that one. There's another one, slightly older in that photo still. Band photos. Roots coming out there. Damn, but yeah. It's died a lot. This is another one that let's go off on like a little tangent. So I guess society says that I can be as hairy as I want to be, which is something that women, I guess, can't do, at least from sort of the mainstream idea is that women need to sort of maintain their hair, body hair as well, maybe more so in a very particular way. Personally, I don't care at all, with one sort of exception, and that sort of exception is, and this is true of as on men as well. Not myself, because I don't tend to see it, but armpit hair really sort of, it just doesn't sit right with me. I don't like the idea of it. It's like a sweat trap, and I just don't find it, I guess, aesthetically pleasing. Which is not to say if you're a woman and you identify as female and you want to grow your armpit hair out as long as you want, and I don't know, braid it or whatever, grow it to braidable length and then braid it, then by all means do that. It's not personally for me. I'd sort of think that was a little, but I think that's true of if a man also decided to do that. I'd think, why are you doing that? But that is my opinion, and I'm not gonna sort of judge people on choosing to do things that they want to do that may make me feel a little bit uncomfortable. I'm keep that to myself, or put it on a YouTube video where God knows how many people could see it. Yeah, I guess that's just me. I don't like armpit hair. If I had to see my own armpit hair all the time, I think I'd equally not like it. I mean, fortunately, armpit hair is one of the areas where I don't actually have as much hair as other places, so it's sort of, I guess, I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't like the look of armpit hair, and because I don't have to see my own armpit hair, I guess I'm fine with it. I'm also really too lazy to maintain it. If I could snap my fingers and then tomorrow morning I had alopecia of the armpit and would never grow armpit hair again, that would be absolutely fine with me. That'd be preferable to me, but I don't have that power, unfortunately, and I don't have the patience or the motivation to maintain it if I did shave my armpits. And from shaving other places, I know that when hair grows back it's itchy, for lack of a better term, and I don't think I'd like that either. Having like itchy armpits, I don't like that idea, so it's something that I guess I will have to live with. But yeah, okay, let's move on. 5. Talk about cosmetics. Do you choose to wear makeup? Do you paint your nails? What types of soaps and perfumes do you use, if any? General rule of thumb, I don't use makeup or paint my nails. That's not to say that I haven't, just that I don't see any reason why. There's not been the opportunity or the situation where I've thought, I need eyeshadow for this. When I was younger, and I've got another photo here, it is slightly photoshopped, but more in a saturation sort of way, because I had to liberate this from my old MySpace account. It's when I started growing my beard in. I've always had very dark eyes anyway, and I've had, from both ends of it, I've had compliments on my eyelashes, and I've had just trying to think of the words to put it. It's, I guess we'll get on to the remind me mascara. Note to self, mascara. Let's talk about that later. No, I've not to say that there haven't been situations where I have, for my own amusement, wore some manner of makeup. I've painted my nails before black, of course, because so rock and roll. I wish I had polish on at that time just to make that point. Soaps and perfumes. Let's talk about those. I don't really care. I really don't. I receive most like soap, shower gels, and stuff as gifts from. Well, mostly my mom specifically. Maybe because she feels that if left to my own devices, I wouldn't buy it for myself. Which is mostly true. I think last time I bought any like sort of shower gel is when I started going to the gym a lot. I was like, oh, I need something so I can have a shower after the gym, and because I get dry skin a lot, so I was like, I need to find something to sort of more exfoliating because otherwise I'm just sort of scratching at dry skin and leaving piles of dry skin everywhere, which is a bit grim. So I think I bought something based entirely on the fact that it had, I think it claimed to have 7 whole limes in it, and I was like, well, I like lime, and it's like really bright green, so yeah, let's get that. But what I receive as like sort of gifts, let's bear with me one moment. I'm gonna go pop into the ensuite and see if I can find something, because I don't know what I've got, so I'm gonna have to have a look. One moment. Okay, so I have in my hands some Lizzo Cleanse and Polish Hot Cloth Cleanser. Naturally active ingredients: rosemary, chamomile, cocoa butter, and eucalyptus essential oils. Cleanses and gently exfoliates for smoother, clearer skin. That is something that I received as a gift from my mother, who that's the sort of things that she buys for herself. So that is the sort of things that we have here in the house. And I guess partially that's because if I would have a shower, and I'll just sort of grab the first thing. Like I've got my own shower there. Sometimes I'll use the shower downstairs because it's a bit bigger, and I'll just grab something, and 9 times out of 10 it's going to be my mum's, because she has more stuff in the bathroom than my dad or younger brother have. So I'll just sort of grab something, use it. So I guess that's why she bought me mine. Bought my own, so I stopped using her expensive like stuff and use my own. Maybe, I don't know. And then, like, on the complete flip side, deodorant wise, I have so many cans or tins or sprays, like Lynx spray, which I guess if you're American, I think it's the same as, I'm like 99% sure that it is Axe body spray, but here in the UK it's called Lynx. I'm almost certain it's the same thing. Mostly because I have so many, because I'll go to, for example, I'll be driving to work and the forecast says it's rain, so better layer up. So it's windy, it's rainy, so trench coat, but trench coat doesn't cover my head, so I need a hoodie and then the trench coat. The problem is my car will then be 100 degrees and I've got all these layers on, as well as when we were talking about clothes, of course, I've got like shirts, ties, jackets and stuff, office wear for work. So I've got all these layers on, and then I'm just literally melting. So I get to work. Unfortunately, there's a Sorry, I had a beard hair in my mouth and I can't quite get it. Wow, we're 30 minutes in and I'm halfway through. Another hour-long video from Matt. Some of these I think we'll be able to just skip over quite quick. So yeah, there's a shop nearby where I work, so I will... When I was younger, I would pop into these shops like, let's see how this smells, and then just sort of apply deodorant, and it's like, no, not for me, and leave the shop. And now I'm a bit older and not a kid anymore, and I guess have more disposable income. I'm like, well, I might as well just buy this, and I'll leave it in my car, so then I'll always have one if this situation comes up again, and I always forget, so I always buy another one, and then eventually I have a clear out of my car and bring everything in, so there's a lot of deodorant knocking around my room and my girlfriend's room at her house, because the same thing happens when we go out together, like, oh, I forgot to put deodorant on this morning, better buy some, and then that just lives at her house. Not so much at her house as at my house, but yeah, cologne-wise, when I can be bothered, which I generally, I'm not that bothered, is cold water most often than not. And that's not because though I do like it, I equally am happy without. My girlfriend really likes that smell, the smell of cold water, so that is what I wear. Because that's what I do, because my own, I guess you go nose blind after a while. So it's, I guess that sort of stuff you worry about other people. Yeah, I guess let's move on. Have you experienced being misgendered? If so, how often? Now, yes and no. Let's bring this one back up. Though actually, that one's just as good as well. Yeah, growing up, like, I had long hair, so dark eyes. Didn't used to sleep a lot, so I'd have dark eyes as well, which I guess added to the fact that in the face and head region, especially pre-beard, I could look a bit feminine at times. I guess I was called feminine a lot, mostly at school by my peers. So I guess, what is this weaponized? Was I called girly? Was that in a weaponized fashion? I don't really know. I never really bothered me that much. But that's not to say that I guess it hasn't happened in the past. It happened, I guess, growing the beard, and when I eventually shaved my head, which I've done twice. First time I did it was I was at a music festival. I'd camped out at a music festival. I think I was there I think it was on day 3 or day 4. We were camping there, and maybe other festivals things aren't as bad, but at the Reading Festival that year, the publicly available showers were particularly grim, and I thought, no, fuck that, I'm not going there. And my hair got that sort of knotted up and disgusting that, and I just so happened to have like a Gillette shaving station to test razors, try to sell razors to people, and they were doing like mohawks for people, which I regret not getting a mohawk because I could have shaved the rest off later. But I came to the conclusion that, you know what, I can't be bothered to deal with having to clean this when I get home and brushing out all the knots and stuff. So I shaved my head the first time and I was like, problem solved, no hair. And then I think I compensated for having a giant beard for a period. I know it's quite long here, but I was like down here and it was quite, from here it was like a big block beard for a time period. And then I grew my hair back out. And then I had long hair again. I was like, yes, long hair again. And another fortunate side effect of when I shaved my head the first time, I also resolved the colour issue, by which, what we talked about earlier, how I used to dye my hair a lot. So I didn't dye my hair again after that point. I wish I had a picture of my giant beard, but the only pictures that I could find online, because I've had a few computers since then, is I have friends. It's not a photo of just me, and I don't know if the people in the photos would be comfortable with me putting photos of them up online, those photos in particular, because in most of them we are quite drunk, or alternatively it's people that I no longer speak to, a few with an ex-girlfriend, or her current boyfriend, a friend of mine, old friend of mine. So I don't have a relationship with them anymore. I don't talk to them anymore, which is an issue that I'm not really going to go into here. But I wouldn't feel comfortable about putting photos of them up online without being able to talk to them, and I don't want to talk to them, so I'm not gonna ask. So unfortunately, we can't show you the giant beard. What was I talking about? Yeah, shaved my hair. And then the second time I shaved my hair, I actually noticed with long hair that I was thinning on top here, and it was very obvious with long hair, so I thought, well, I'd said this when I started growing my hair, it's like, as soon as I start going bald, man, as soon as I start going bald, dude, I'm just gonna fucking shave it all off. So that is what I do now. I miss long hair, I do, but I don't have the patience to grow my hair. When I grow my hair, it gets to a point where it looks very square. I sort of, here and here, it sort of forms square corners, and my head looks like a box, and I don't like that. And the other time I managed to power through it, and I can't now. I look at it as like, no, gotta shave my head, man. Gotta shave. So that's what I do now. Let's see. Do you experience dysphoria? How does that affect you? Now, in this context, I think we're talking, the intention was to talk specifically about gender dysphoria, and no, I don't. In regards to sort of body dysphoria, I mean, there's varying degrees, and by no means am I saying that I have body dysmorphia. What's BDD? Disorder, body dysmorphic disorder. By no means am I saying that I have that, but at some level, is there not something that about everyone's bodies that people would like to, that aren't quite happy with, would like to change? Let's bring up that other one. I mean, I'm wearing. I still have that coat actually. It's difficult to see sort of in this photo, and once again, there were better photos that sort of showed this, but it was not just a photo of myself, or like was less dressed than I would want to put up on a video on YouTube. Because no one wants to see that, right? Or, I don't know, maybe you guys do, I don't know. But, yeah, I used to be very thin, very, like, super thin, and now I'm not super thin, and I was like, oh man, metabolism, why'd you let me down? So, yeah, there are things about myself that I'm not exactly happy with the way that I look, but I also acknowledge that that is a large part of my own fault for having a shitty diet and not being very active, playing all those video games, which is what, for people who have just sort of stumbled across me here, is what I do on this YouTube channel. I'll take a video game that I'd have played anyway and record me playing it, and in some instances sort of talk about my thoughts on the game that I'm playing as I'm playing it, or things that occur to me as I'm playing it. And in another sense, the Blood Bowl playthrough that I'm playing at the moment, just leave the... you won't hear from me at all in my Blood Bowl campaign playthrough, because there's a lot of narration to that game, which I don't want to accidentally talk over, so I've just sort of left that to that. Looping round again. I can't even remember what question I'm on. Dysmorphia. How does it affect you? Does it affect me? No, it doesn't affect me, not in the context that I think we're looking for here. And how does it, the general sort of not being happy with the way that I look, affect me? It was a motivating sort of thing, like I need to get my ass to a gym, and I had a gym membership, and then I mean, I don't think I've been for 3 months, as I've had some illnesses in that period. I've been ill, I've had, for a completely different reason, I've had surgery, and I didn't feel comfortable. Like, it was just like, I guess, man flu is what I had. I had a bad cold, but I was coughing up phlegm and sneezing all over the place, and I didn't feel comfortable being in a gym like that, not for my own sake, because for other people using the facilities. And then I had some surgery which has sort of sidelined me for the last month and a bit. I had the surgery about a month ago, but leading up to the surgery, sort of not going to the gym for that reason, because of how things had got. I'm not going to go into detail with what was up. I'm fine now. For the most part, still healing up, but fine enough that going to the gym won't be a problem. So how does it affect me? I guess it's a motivational tool. But once again, this is me talking about something that's not necessarily a thing. No, actually, no, I take that back. An experience for me, the dysphoria that I feel, well, it's not even that. The unhappiness that I feel about my body is something that is motivating me to fix that, to do something about that, to change my diet, to be more healthy, be more proactive, and that will hopefully do things for me. I will never. Well, hopefully, I don't know, maybe I will kickstart my metabolism, and then I'll be thin again, I guess, or thinner, less man boobs. That's the goal, right? No, less man boobs. But I guess that's my experience. How other people might experience things, and this could go back to gender dysphoria here. I mean, I can only imagine that it, without selling it short, that it truly does suck, but this is one that has interested me about other people's videos, people who have experienced it and how it affected them, and especially in instances where people have been able to draw motivation to sort of find a positive in something negative that they feel about themselves. That has interested me a bit. 3 more to go. Talk about children. Number 8. Talk about children. Are you interested in having children? Would you want to carry a child if that were an option for you? Do you want to be the primary caretaker for any children that you may have? Yeah, I would like children. Whether I would carry a child to term and birth a child, I mean, I don't have the option. Would I want that option? Probably not. Because that shit's not comfortable. A friend of mine, quite recently, maybe it's not that recent anymore. No, I think it might be about 6 months ago now, thinking about it, but a friend of mine was pregnant, and yeah, didn't look like fun at all. Yeah, so no, maybe once, no. That's not to say that if circumstances, if A, it were possible, and B, circumstances sort of dictated, that I wouldn't. But I think some very specific things would have to occur for me to do that. Do I want to be the primary caretaker for any child that you may have? I don't want any child that I would have to have a primary caretaker. I mean, in an ideal scenario, it would be me and a partner with a child. And I don't think any one of us should be a primary caretaker. I think it's a very sort of parenting's like teamwork, right? That's like my mum was the primary caretaker for myself and my brother, though my dad was around more when my brother was born than when I was born because of the job that he had at the time. But I mean, when Dad was around for when I was sort of, let's say, if Dad was in for when I was going to bed, when it was my bedtime, I would insist that my dad do it because I wouldn't see him very often because he'd work up until I go to sleep very often, and then so I'd see him in the morning before I went to school, before he went to work, if that, and then he'd be at work for the day, so I wouldn't see him very often. So when he was around, it was something that was special to me. But I don't think that's how I'd like to raise my own child. So no, I don't want to be the primary caretaker. I want to be a. If anyone has to be a primary caretaker, why not both? Why can't it be as equal a division of labour as possible? Is my own thoughts on that particular matter from my own experiences. Back on that subject a little with number 9, talk about money. Is it important for you to provide for a family financially if you choose to have one? Is it important that you earn more money than any partner that you may have? Do you prefer to pay for things like dates? Are you uncomfortable when others offer to pay for you? I think I've stumbled all over that, but I think you get the point. Go away, skinny Matt. Yeah, I think it should be important to any family to... No, I was about to say to provide in some manner. It's not important for me to be the primary financial sort of breadwinner, I guess, of a family. Nor is it that important whether I earn more money than my partner or not. As it turns out, at the moment, I do, and have done. No, there was a time period when we were earning the same amount of money. I moved to a different job where I earned more, my current job where I earned more money, and then she changed job to, so her wage is now closer to mine, but I have 2 years experience and therefore 2 years worth of annual pay increases in my current job than she does starting her new job. But no, it's not important to either of us actually who earns more. both of us are equally comfortable to pay for things, because what tends to happen is I get paid on around the 25th, so and my partner doesn't get paid till the end of the month, usually the 28th. So what will happen is I will do all the spending for the first half of the month, and then I've got no money left, and then she does all the spending because I've got no money, she's got the money. Then I get paid by the time that she's sort of running out of money, so then I start spending money. Is it the best way to do things? Probably not by any stretch of the imagination. And I guess if something like that was something that you actually cared about keeping track of, then it might be if you do more stuff at the start of the month than at the end of the month, does that disadvantage the person who was paid earlier, so pays for things at the start of the month? And I guess technically yes, it does, but it's not something that either of us really keep track of. I don't keep track of anyway. I hope if she did keep track of it, I'd hope that she'd tell me that it was an issue, if she felt it was an issue, but that's how it works for us, and it's probably not the best way to do things. But that's what we do at the moment anyway. I used to have arguments with my dad actually about this, because my dad is let's say old-fashioned in sort of a sense of, well, a man should pay for things, and I'm like, well, Dad, we're earning, though I'm earning a little bit more, we're earning roughly the same amount of money. It doesn't matter who pays for things. So yeah, it's not an issue with me. It's something that I've had arguments about. It shouldn't really be an issue. If someone is earning dramatically more money than the other person in a relationship, I don't see any issue why they shouldn't be at least financially, why that would be an issue, because they earn more money, they're more able to do things like that. But I don't see it being I mean, it is what it is. You have the money that you have, and you spend it how you spend it, and I'm not uncomfortable paying for people. I'm not uncomfortable people paying for me at all. So yeah, that's that. Number 10 is basically anything else you want to share about your experience with gender. I'm sure there are many things that I could share about my experience with gender. But I have gone on we're about 50 odd minutes right now, and I've done a lot of rambling. So while I'm sure there are things that I could share, I don't have a prompt that reminding me of situations about things that I could share. So I'm gonna say at this point, no, I'm gonna wrap things up. No, two things I'd like to share about gender. Not my personal experiences with gender, but gender generally. Am I pointing in the right way? Yes, my camera's the right way. The male and female symbol there. Originally the colours were inverted, and it had like a two-tone thing, and I spent, I think, 20 minutes trying to flip the colours and keep the two-tonal effect, and then I just gave up and made it one flat colour. Because I thought it was a good idea when I set things up. I was like, well, how about I made the male sign pink and the female sign blue, because blue traditionally is seen as a masculine colour and pink is traditionally a feminine colour. And then once I'd done all that, I thought of two things. Thing number one, there is a symbol that, instead of the one that I did, there is a symbol that is probably more appropriate for me to have used, as there is a third symbol which sort of merges the two together. So I probably should have included that as well. And historically, pink was seen as a masculine colour because it was light red, and red was the colour of blood and war and etc. So pink was a masculine colour, and blue was a feminine colour because it was cool and soothing. And I mean, we're going back a bit historically, I believe, to the Tudor period, which, because my history is not as good as it used to be, I'm going to have to Google when that was. I want to say, I'm going to make my guess now while I'm Googling. I'm going to say 1400s. Google, the Tudor period is a period between 1485 and 1603 in England and Wales. It coincides with the rule of the Tudor dynasty in England, whose first monarch was Henry VII, which was 1457 to 1509. So, wow, that's actually a longer period than I thought it was off the top of my head. So 1400, 1500. So I think that's when the colours were sort of seen in that way. That is what you would dress a child in anyway. And then at some point you got flipped, and I can't remember why that was. Second thing I'd like to bring up about gender is, and this is just useless trivia for you at the end of the video, the term girl used to mean, could apply to either gender. It was, I guess, similar to how we would refer to someone as a youth, being a gender-neutral term to describe someone who is a youth, young, small child. To be specific, if you wanted to be specific to the gender, a male child would be a knave girl, and a female child would be a gay girl. And that is just something that I find quite interesting, and it's related, and I'd like these opportunities to spout useless trivia at people, so I just thought I'd slot those two things in here. Yeah, I've been, as my little scrolly says, Matthew Dunn, and this has been the Gender Tag, my contribution to the Gender Tag project. I would invite you all to sort of let me know what you thought in the comments, if you disagreed with anything, and I'm sure some people may have disagreed with certain things that I've said. That's absolutely fine, because what is a disagreement if not a opportunity to open a dialogue and have a discussion? So by all means leave any comments. If perhaps you're interested, for people who have sort of stumbled here, if you're interested in watching just a guy play video games, take a look over the channel. If it's something that you're into, perhaps subscribe, check them out, give them a watch, show your friends, etc. Or not, as maybe it's not something that you're into, and that's absolutely fine too. And if just like me, watching this video has made you think as well, and you thought the content was interesting, perhaps you want to make a video of your own. As I said at the top of the video at the start, I'm going to drop some links to the main playlist as a whole, and the two videos that I've watched to begin with, Adam Cobalt and Dodgers. So if you want to check those out, that's cool. Yeah, I guess that's really all I have to say on the matter. Though I'm sure I could keep going on and on and on and on and on. I don't think I'm going to say anything else of any real substance, so we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll maybe catch you around on the next one, maybe not. Thanks for watching. Bye.